Madam Chair, you were live.
Great, thank you. Welcome everyone to the April meeting of the Annapolis Education Commission. We're glad you can join us tonight. We are awaiting some other members that might be joining a little bit later. We are also going to be missing some members because our meeting unfortunately conflicts with the Board of Education's twice a month meeting tonight. They moved their schedule and we could not move ours. So we're going to have a shorter meeting, and as soon as we get done with this, we encourage you to tune into the AACPS live stream YouTube channel. If you search YouTube Anne Arundel County Public Schools, you can turn in and watch the Board of Ed meeting synchronously or after the fact. My name is Janet Norman, and I am the chair of the commission, and we're going to go around and take roll call of who is here tonight and who might be joining us later. I'm an at-large member of the commission. So Ward 1.
Hi, I'm Rachel Carr from Ward 1.
Great, thank you, Rachel. Ward 2. Ward 2 is Jamie Weaver, and she is going to attempt to come from another PTA event tonight. So she might be joining us later. Ward 3.
Enid Collison-Lee here.
Thank you, Enid. Ward 4. Ward 4 is currently a vacant position, and we welcome commission members who would wish to apply from Ward 4. Please let me know if you have any interest in assisting the Annapolis cluster in education. You can send an email to AnnapolisEducationCommission@gmail.com, and we would love to know of your interest. Okay, Ward 5.
India Oaks, Ward 5.
Thank you, India. Great to have you. Ward 6. Ward 6 is our Commissioner Jessica Packler, who is on travel, and I do not know that she's going to be joining us tonight. Ward 7.
That's me, Laura Booth, Ward 7.
Thank you, Laura. Oh no, am I wrong?
This is Ward 8.
Ward 8. That's right. Sorry, India. You caught me in my mistake. Ward 6 is Corey McCall. Yes. I have not heard from Corey, but so I'm not sure that she's able to join us tonight. So Ward 8 is Jess Packler, and she is on travel and may not be joining us. We do not have any other AACPS staff or Board of Ed staff with us tonight. So we're going to power through the rest of our agenda. I submitted to the commission the agenda. Laura, could you pull that up for us? Okay, great. So because we do not have a quorum of members yet, I'm going to postpone the approval of the minutes. We do not have anyone who's contacted us for public testimony right now. So we're going to go straight into advocacy for the county council meeting. So Laura, the next slide is a video I'd like folks to see. No. Oh, first, the big news. Annapolis High School, out of the 85,000 student district of Anne Arundel County Public Schools, Annapolis High School's Mary Kay Connerton was the Teacher of the Year award winner, just recently announced last week. And we are super lucky to have her, and thrilled at all the work that she has done within Annapolis High. She is the wellness coordinator. And I'm just going to read from the press release that talks about what she's doing. She created and leads the school's trauma-informed leadership team and uses a whole school approach to connect with teachers, administration, school counselors, social workers, and community partners. She also leads monthly counseling groups such as yoga sessions for specific student needs and facilitates professional development for teachers that focuses on the health and wellness of students. She has a curriculum throughout the county for Stretch Your Wellness class. She is one of the advisors for the One Love Club, I believe, that talks about healthy relationship development for Annapolis High. She served for 13 years in the Anne Arundel County Public Schools and at Annapolis High for the last 8 years. And we are just thrilled to have a teacher of her caliber, and all the other teachers that we know are working hard with her at Annapolis High. So thank you so much, Ms. Connerton, and we're thankful for all your dedication and talents. Laura, can you go to the next slide? Okay, so I'm going to turn this on. Here's a middle school parent I would like you to listen to. Is there sound? Julian, is there anyone? It had sound when I tried it.
Oops, probably because I was muted. Hang on.
Okay. Okay. Julian, have you ever run into this?
Yeah, I think I know what's going on. Actually, if you stop sharing,
Okay.
and then when you go to hit share again, before you hit share on that next box, make sure it's clicked the share audio as well. So the box will pop up when you hit share.
Okay,
On
share
the left, there's a
sound.
little check box.
There we go. I'll see it. Okay, hang on.
And
one
now I'll
second.
hit share.
Sorry about that. Let me try one more time.
Thank you for your expertise.
And hopefully I'm right.
And apologies for my lack of basic functioning.
You don't have to burn books to
Okay, so
destroy a culture.
we're gonna start over, Laura.
Hang on. Ah, there we
Right.
go.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Wes Rexroad. I'm a parent to a middle school student here in Martin County, former senior reactor operator at the nuclear power plant up on Hudson Island, and commander, United States Navy, retired. You know, Ray Bradbury, the author of Fahrenheit 451, had a great quote. You don't have to burn books to destroy a culture. You just have to get people to stop reading them. You know, on September 11, 2001, I was on board USS Theodore Roosevelt when religious fanatics who wouldn't even let women be educated flew planes into the World Trade Center and my Pentagon. I spent the last decade of my naval career fighting religious fascism abroad. Never thought I'd have to fight it right here in the United States of America. I grew up in rural South Carolina, and books got me out of the trailer parks. My parents trusted those educators and the librarians to let me read what I needed to read. I spent 21 years in the Naval Nuclear Propulsion Program, where Admiral Hyman Rickover said a questioning attitude was the key to success in the nuclear power program. I want my son exposed to different ideas and different viewpoints so that he can learn to think critically and not be force-fed somebody else's opinion. We've all been exposed to different opinions. Makes us better, makes us stronger. Adversity has made me stronger. I didn't sacrifice 21 years of my life to stand idly by while religious fanatics and other fanatics try to impose fascism on my country. I urge you to think about what a book ban needs and use transparency. I don't need anyone else telling my son what he can and cannot read. I'm very perfectly capable of determining that for myself. Thanks for your time. Thank you for listening. I urge you to remember the Little Rock Nine. Thank you.
Okay, Laura, we'll stop the share for a second and go back to me. All right. I wanted to include that for you all to consider. Because think about that man testified to his local school board for 2 minutes. And the impact of what he said went viral because of the power of his words. And he's a middle school parent, and he spoke from the heart. about what was needed in his particular school. So this is the power that all of us have within. I would not speak as eloquently as he has put it, but you have the power to speak for 2 minutes to try and convince the county council that items within the Board of Education's budget need to be funded. So you heard Dr. Bedell talk to us last month about, like, he's got an ambitious agenda. Like, he was unanimously hired by our Board of Ed to make some changes and try and close the education gaps and improve the students in every level where they were. And so he needs support of the community. He needs our ideas of what is needed for the budget, and he needs our voices before the county council. If you think of all the different competing factors, a lot of the surplus COVID CARES federal government money is no longer flowing into county budgets. So we're back to more competition between agencies, competing interests that are all perfectly, valid needs that the county has. Do we need more parkland? Do we need more, fire and police protection? Do we need more road repair? These are all, worthy items for the county budget. And we have to make the case for why the items within the board's adopted budget that they submitted to the county council and the county executive need to be funded. So one example we have is there's, I believe, 3 positions within the Board of Ed budget for social workers within the school system. Annapolis High has 1 social worker for 2,000 students. And if you look at our free and reduced meal percentage, we're up there, thought it was like high 58 to almost 60% for Annapolis High, free and reduced meals. That social worker, in addition to giving resources to the family and putting them in touch with agencies, also conducts the conflict resolution process that's called restorative justice. And they work with, so 2 students are having a beef with each other. If we don't want that to escalate, they bring the students together, they work with a guidance counselor, and they sit down and they teach the students how to resolve conflict. If you think of all of our own lives, learning to resolve conflict with others is about 75% of what we do each and every day. But when was that taught to us? Some of us had parents, some of us had, college professors, some of us had somebody in our lives that earlier or much later, when we didn't discover it till later, taught us how to work through conflict. And that's what our students need, those adults, to teach them how to work through conflict. Because as we all know, guns are a much more prevalent part of conflict in society than they were in previous decades. So Laura, can you flip to the next slide, please? I sent out an email to the commission with the dates of the county council budget hearings. So May 4th is when they have a Zoom presentation to the council members and explains each component of the budget. And if you're really wonky like me, sometimes you might want to watch that and hear what they have to say. Otherwise, you can, if you want, you can take a look of the printed budget and flip through, or just there's a budget summary that AACPS puts out, and it kind of summarizes the key items, how many teachers they're asking for, how many bilingual facilitators, how many pupil personnel workers, social workers, other positions within the capital and the operating budgets. The important dates are May 11th, 7 p.m. downtown in the council chambers. 44 Calvert Street is the big council hearing room. You get 2 minutes. This Florida man, middle school parent, used his 2 minutes really well. whatever you say to them comes from your experience and your heart, and they will absorb what you're trying to share. The council will absorb what you're trying to share. Unfortunately, as humans, we all, sometimes remember the things that were presented to us, and they're voting on the budget within days of these presentations, days and weeks of these presentations. So if someone contacted us 3 months earlier versus someone comes in person and gives an appeal why this item is important, the human brain often goes to the more recent event or the event that tugs on your emotional understanding to influence your decision making more. So we have that opportunity. We have the opportunity to reach out to our neighbors to do that. Our communities, our PTA leaders, our parents, all of us within Anne Arundel County. And as I kid Bob Mosier, but he did say, boy, if we can get someone other than the people that they've already seen, they've already seen me, they've already seen Laura, they've already seen Jess sometimes. If we can get some new faces speaking up for elements of the budget and funding the board approved budget on the whole, that's going to help advance every student in the county. So that's really what we need. If you can please drag 2 or 3 friends, neighbors, other interested parties out to speak up for the budget, we'd be much appreciated. May 18th is the next public hearing at 7 p.m. That's over in Crofton High School at Gambrills. So if you want to see the brand new Crofton High School and that's the date you can make, fantastic. If you want to go to the May 11th meeting in Annapolis, that's great. I will put out an email if you can provide email testimony. It's not, quite as effective as the in-person plea, but it's more effective than nothing. So I will circulate the email submission form. The county has a testimony submission form that they have not put up yet for the budget hearings, but as soon as they put that on their webpage, I will circulate that to everyone. And make sure we have that opportunity, but it's not going to happen without a whole lot of us speaking up. So anybody listening to this commission meeting tonight, we welcome, our alder people, our aldermen and alderwomen in previous years have gone to the council, the county council meetings and spoken up for us and spoken up for our Annapolis students. So we encourage you to do that. Business leaders in the community, we encourage you to do that. Okay, I've hammered on that point. May 11th and May 18th. And if you have any questions, you can shoot me an email at AnnapolisEducationCommission@gmail.com. All right, thanks, Laura. If you can go to the next one, see what we're talking about. Okay, a great opportunity that Anne Arundel Community College, AACC, is holding is that they are coming right to Annapolis High, and department chairs and people who know the courses of Anne Arundel Community College are coming. And so encourage any students to go to that session, go up and talk to people, ask them what, the construction certification degrees are at Anne Arundel Community College. Ask them about HVAC, ask them about physics, there's a great physics professor at AACC. Ask them about computer science, ask them about whatever you're interested in or what the student could find of interest. Get them to talk to the professionals from AACC and get involved and enrolled. So please circulate that. I'll send that around to our members so that they know about it. Next, Laura. Another great event to know about is is at the community college. there's a construction trade career day. So if you can bring anyone to that event, if you know of some kids who don't know what they want to do. I had a high school senior who, as of August of his senior year, had no idea what he wanted to do. He didn't know what he wanted to major in. He didn't know where he wanted to go to school. He didn't know big school, small school, city, country, anything. It's hard for kids to know without seeing examples of something they might like. So if you can take students up to this event, if you can tell students about this event, please do so. And I will circulate that flyer. It is this Saturday, 9 a.m. to 11, just a 2-hour thing. You'll probably get a lot of great information. Okay. Laura, the next one. We do want to celebrate some of the things that the city's been doing really well. I wish Alderwoman Finlayson was here because she helped pull off a great jobs information day at Annapolis High week and a half ago. And that was yet another chance for our students to learn about different jobs and trades that they could get training in and have some successful careers. So we thank Alderwoman Finlayson for being the big drive behind that, and love to see more of those. This is the city of Annapolis has a program called No Harm. And they did a conflict resolution workshop, just like I talked about with the social worker of Annapolis High. You know, these type of workshops, conflict resolution is so important. And we thank the city for doing these efforts for our kids. Laura, can you go back to the agenda? We have a chance. Okay. We do not have anybody signed up for public testimony. But so the next thing I want to talk about just what a hard week it's been in the education field here. We just Monday night lost one of our students at Annapolis High to a suicide. And that has rocked many of us who love Annapolis High and love our students and know the family. So whatever you can do for our kids, you think, well, you know, I'm just doing this one little thing. It's the combination of little things of each of us reaching out. None of us is going to advance much on our own. I need all of you. I need what you can do and what you can provide. So there was also there was a news article in the Capitol about another Annapolis 19-year-old who is now charged with multiple counts of attempted murder, from pointing and firing a gun in the direction of someone at a gas station on West Street when they had a conflict with somebody at the gas station. The conflict escalated and a gun was drawn out. So whatever each of us can do to try and prevent these occurrences, I think we need to do whatever action we can. So I just want to leave it there. If any of our commissioners has thoughts or ideas, or you want to comment, please speak up if you'd like.
Jan, do you know how at Annapolis High, things have gone this week?
So Annapolis High is amazing in how they're responding. So the incident happened. He took his life on Monday night, this past Monday. Tuesday, the Annapolis High had sent out through they have a Connect Ed system that texts to every single family in the thing, and they put on their website they put up a letter with permission of the family indicating and the boy's name is Charlie Trapp, and we miss him. So they put up a letter and just explain to everybody in the school community, like, counselors are available. We want to talk to you about it. You know, we don't want kids wondering and suffering. And he was very well known as a junior. So they have been amazing in offering the support system. And I think, you know, it was the administration in coming out immediately with that information, so there wasn't rumor and speculation and the unknown. They really talked about. I'm probably not able to read the letter because it's hard, but it's on the Annapolis High website. AnnapolisHighSchool.org is their website, and it's right on the front page. And they've handled it as best a challenging situation can be handled.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Thank you.
Yeah. So once again, like our administrative team and our counseling team are doing phenomenal things for our almost 2,200 students at Annapolis High. Okay. We are going to move to something else on the agenda. The next item, I think, Laura, is number 7, volunteer background verification for AACPS and nonprofit partners. So we have several partners who have spoken at our prior meetings. We have Seeds for Success. We have Charting Careers. Erin Snell came on from that. Jen Pastrone came on from Seeds for Success. And we have the folks we met that came from STARE, Start the Adventure in Reading. And all of them use, all of them use volunteers throughout the school year and through the summer. So in order to volunteer for them, you have to go through a background check to work with students. If the event is happening within an AACPS school, like Seeds for Success runs their elementary mentoring program in Eastport Elementary. It's happening in a school, you need the background check by AACPS and by the nonprofit because the nonprofit can't see AACPS's background check. If you want to go in and help like proctor a test for the IB students, if you want to chaperone a field trip, if you want to do any sort of assistance within the schools, you need to have the background check. So we are trying to, Eastport Elementary is going to be doing a program to get their volunteers. They have some vouchers to pay for low-income families to have the background check paid for by the school system. And they're going to be doing that. Within the Board of Ed building on Riva, within the, AACPS central office on Riva Road, there is a background check right at the entrance of the facility. They do fingerprinting and you initiate, you tell them your relevant information and they initiate a check before you can volunteer. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I know a number of other folks like Laura and other folks have gotten that. Laura, do you know how long those background checks are good for? Is that a 2-year process?
They're good. If you get the fingerprinting done, it is good. We were told as long as you have kids, if you're a parent, as long as you have kids in the system. So I believe with the fingerprint background check, because the way they run it, it's like a permanent check. So you're in the system, and if like later on you get arrested for something, they would get notified by it, as opposed to the normal background check, which parents get with the driver's license, which is a one-time deal where they just run it and make sure that you're not, a convicted child molester or whatever.
Thanks for that. So, so we're going to send around some more information about how people can get verified to do the volunteering that's needed in our county. And I know there's going to be need for summer tutors. There's going to be need for transportation folks to assist. All of our nonprofit partners are really active getting kids to summer camps and active training people for fall mentoring programs. So we are looking through the process to get as many people moved on as we can. If anybody has any questions tonight, it's pretty informal with the small group. So please just raise a hand, interrupt me at any time if you have questions or suggestions. The next item on our agenda is transportation policy review, the walking and bus radius. This is a topic we have talked about a number of times at the Education Commission. For those who don't know, and Laura, correct me if I'm incorrect on this, the distance that students have to live from a school to have bus service in middle school, they have to live beyond 1.5 miles. And at elementary school, is it 1 mile? And
It's a mile for first through fifth grade, and I think for kindergarten.
Kindergarten is 0.5 miles.
Yeah. Yep.
So sometimes they'll have a bus come to like Harbor House or something, pick up kindergartners, and the first graders through fifth graders all have to walk a mile to school. Yeah. What our teachers have told us, and Enid, I don't know if you remember this from many of your days, is that a lot of times on heavier rain days, we have a lot less kids showing up for school because of these walking radius issues. Like, kids are getting soaked and they don't have the things, and they're just not showing up as much as what our teachers are telling us. So we have initiated, so Jess Packler has taken on this issue, and we thank her for doing that. Because the kids who are coming to Annapolis Middle School from Harbor House and Eastport Terrace are walking close to 1.5 miles to get to school. And I'll send around information, but the Maryland State Department of Education report cards that Dr. Bedell showed us last month that have the chronic absenteeism rates for all of our schools. I wanted to put that on a table for you, but I didn't have a chance with this week's unfortunate events. All of our Annapolis cluster schools have significantly high chronic absenteeism, whether that's from, COVID illnesses, from not having transportation, from other chronic absentee issues, from family vacations, whatever. Our kids are missing school at a much higher rate than our suburban cluster schools, our sister schools in the suburbs. So we have asked, I'm going to read you what we asked Dr. Joanna Tobin, the president of the Board of Ed. I said, could you please consider Annapolis Education Commissioner Jessica Packler's request to consider a Board of Ed policy modification to the bus walker radius policy for AACPS transportation. Annapolis Education Commission intends to follow up soon with a formal request to the entire Board of Education for Title I schools to reduce the radius of the required radius to live for being provided bus service. We appreciate any guidance or feedback on the process prior to our formal request. So if you remember the division of duties, the Board of Ed sets policy for AACPS, and the superintendent administers all the implementation of instruction and those policies. So if it's an implementation issue, it goes through the superintendent. If it's a policy issue, like we have a policy on transportation and the radius, the distance radius, that has to go through the Board of Ed's policy committee and the policy committee. So I'm going to read you what Dr. Tobin responded to us. She said, my apologies for not responding sooner to the earlier emails. Busy time. As you know, the request for a modification on the bus walker radius policy is something that would need to go through the policy committee of the Board of Ed and then come before the full board for review and a vote. I will discuss this further with Board of Ed member Ms. Dent, the policy committee chair, and our legislative and policy specialist, Ms. Wilson, to see if we can get review of this policy on the schedule for the policy committee. Generally, the review schedule for the policy committee is set during the summer of the following school year. So this may have to wait until next school year. Thank you for contacting me. So it is a bureaucratic process, but if you think of some of the other policies we took a number of years to advocate for, like safe and healthy school start times, and we now have an 8:30 a.m. high school start time. I think this is a really worthwhile issue that we need to get the ball rolling on. So with your consent and the discussions we've had in previous commission meetings, we are going to make a formal request to Dr. Tobin and the policy committee that they set this for their earliest possible review in the fall, and try and get that policy changed. Does anyone have any discussion points or questions or thoughts on that policy issue? Laura has her hand up.
I'm just going to say that this is a long overdue change. I understand, it's a big county, buses are expensive, but almost every single school in our cluster, we've heard in my years on the commission, pretty much every principal rather come and speak to us. And usually when they talk to us about the school improvement plan, almost every school in our cluster has, as part of their annual school improvement plan, reducing absenteeism. To me, this is a no-brainer. I mean, if we want kids to get to school, we have to make it easy to get there. If a kid only has one pair of sneakers and they have to walk 1.5 miles in pouring rain and then sit there in wet shoes all day, they're not going to go. So I think anything that we can do to get our kids to school, we saw the commission, total blank on the name, but one of the points in one of the equity opportunity gap, thank you, it's the Opportunity Gap Commission. They identified transportation as a barrier to school attendance. So it's not like we don't understand reasons why kids aren't coming to school. I mean, they have identified it and said, this is a barrier. So if we know it's a barrier, how can we do anything besides remove it?
Yeah, thank you, Laura. We do. It's been documented in so many of those reports like that. Enid, would you like to add some?
Yes, I agree. And like you said, it is a common practice in suburban schools. When it rains, we have a lot more car drivers. That's evident. But with everything that's going on with the buses, my question is, number one, are the buses? I heard one time there was, then I heard a lot of people quit. So do all of the schools have sufficient buses and bus drivers now? What's the, because it changes every now and again. That's my first question. My second question is there any way that can be adopted, that instead of getting an additional bus for an additional driver, if we could make sure we emphasize that buses are already passing these areas, and therefore we don't need additional drivers or additional buses, but that just another bus stop be incorporated in that particular bus driver's route.
Mhm. I know some buses are driving past. It's probably a volume and capacity issue that they may need additional buses. That it's not, you know, a completely empty bus going by kids, but I will follow up. This is why it's hard not to have the AACPS representatives here to answer those questions. I know that Dr. Bedell had utilized central office staff to be filling those bus driver gaps, and they are continuing to complete the CDL training for additional drivers. So they are working very hard at that, and they have earned over CDL drivers by using van service for the private special placement schools. So they said that there were not routes that did not have a routine driver. So occasionally when a driver gets sick, they will have a route that's out, but they do not have routes that have a permanently vacant driver right now. So yes, Mr. Jamal is with us. Thank you for joining us. And if you, I don't know how much of the conversation you've heard, but if you have any questions, points, comments you'd love to add, anybody's free to. Okay, Odessa's here. Yay, one of our voting commissioners. Just put a hand up if you'd like to be recognized and to add anything to our discussion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We now have 6 commissioners, and for quorum, I believe we need 7. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to press for the policy review on transportation and continue that. Laura, if you could go back to the, or Mr. Jamal, do you have any updates from the what is it, Be Present initiative? Has that started within Annapolis High, or?
Yeah, so that has started in Annapolis High School, and so what I'm currently working on, as a matter of fact, we had our first, well, not a first, but another community volunteer meeting Monday at Mount Moriah Church, and so at 6 o'clock every last Monday of the month, we're going to be meeting at Mount Moriah Church, trying to coordinate and getting more volunteers to participate in that particular program. Now, I will say this because I was at the last meeting at Pip Moya, and I wanted to be respectful, but there's still a community component that's missing in the conceptualization of the Be Present, when they say whatever happens in the school stays in the schools, don't tell the parents. We're actually trying to get parents, uncles, and grandfathers, and cousins, and coaches in to the school. And to be honest with you, when we were in Annapolis High, that's the first thing that we did when we saw a young person, is that, who's your family? Who are you related to? Because these are the type of connections that are required in order to really, help out what's going on in the school. So myself and Bishop Palmer from Odenton, we're supposed to be meeting with Sean Ashworth to talk just a little bit more about, the program in general. So that's pretty much it right now.
Awesome.
And I'll make sure I let this group know what's happening with that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
So
Thank you.
appreciate that. So roughly how many times a week, or how is that schedule being worked out?
The Be Present schedule?
Yeah.
So it's an open schedule. So once you get on the list to be a volunteer, then you just call the school. They have a point of contact person. Last year for us, it was Ms. Moses, one of the assistant vice principals. We would say, these are the people that are showing up, and she would expect us, and we would report to her. And then they would say, okay, we need you to go here. We need you to go there. And so how we started seeing is that they're overwhelmed, the staff is overwhelmed, and people were they had to do something else. And there we were with volunteers in the hallways by ourselves, without, any administration there. And I was there last Thursday or 2 Thursdays ago with Alderwoman Finlayson. She did a program where she had someone speak to the young people from Baltimore, and he had been, incarcerated, and he was trying to get the young people together, and he had a difficult time trying to, reach and connect with them. And so it's still a lot of work to be done. We saw a lot of hall walking. So yeah, it's just work to be done in that regard.
Okay. Who is the staff point of contact this year?
I'm not for sure who's the staff point of contact this year for the program, because we haven't been back yet. We still need to go through this new training that they have, and I haven't been to none of our volunteers in the city of Annapolis have been to the new training as of yet. Okay, but we still have some miscommunication, misunderstanding, I should say it is. So here's the misunderstanding, so everybody is clear on what we're talking about. They want you to be friendly with the students and support them, and that's great and that's fine. But here's the question: after the bell has rung and you have students in the hallways, not in their classes, doing things that they're not supposed to do, how do you want the volunteers to engage? The volunteers that I have and the responsible adults that I have are not going to stand around and crack jokes when young people are not in the classrooms and they're out in the hallways where they're not supposed to be. So how we engage with the administration in dealing with an issue like that still needs to be negotiated, or still needs to be understood, not negotiated. We'll do whatever the school says to do. But if the school does not want us to really even alert the school about that, that puts us in a difficult spot. And to be honest with you, it's not a show of responsibility, but it is irresponsibility to have young people see adults in a school in a volunteer situation, and they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing for their own benefit. And we have no ability to work with the administration to say, hey, what's going on here? And the first thing has to be, may I see your hall pass? Because we don't want to accuse these young people of anything.
Right.
And we don't want to call the administration with them for our walkie-talkie, but we not tell the young scholar, hey, you need to be doing something else. That's the opposite, effect of spying on them. We're not trying to spy on them. We want them to understand that you have a responsibility to yourself and the community to get your education. So you need to be in the classroom. So that's still is not clear in the.
Yeah. So developing that respectful accountability system.
Yes.
You're volunteering your time to be that respectful accountability system, but it has to work as such. It has to work.
So we need a true partnership with the school. And if you read the brochure, it's still kind of like, don't share things with the parent. And we understand that certain things, some confidential things that are not to be shared. But to be honest with you, we're not trying to go into the school to be counselors like that on that level. We're not trying to take over what's already done in the school. We just want to be a presence, in the hallway, and just in general, if there's an issue and there's a problem, and we can identify a person's parents, their grandparents, their parents, and we grew up with them, we know them. Yeah, we're going to say, hey, your son, daughter, grandchild, have a conversation with them about, going to class, and that's pretty much it. So still some work to be done there with that.
Okay, that's
okay.
I'll follow up with the school system and try and figure it out.
Okay, so that's the thing to follow up on. If the young scholars are in the hallway not doing what they're supposed to do, then how do the volunteers engage when you actually see things like this violating the school policies? What to do at that particular moment?
Yeah, and that might be explained in the more thorough training, but I will find out who.
Well, no, it wasn't, because I talked to the persons that
already had the training.
Yes. And then when we talked about it, I said, hey, I'm confused too. And so we're supposed to be getting a meeting with Sean Ashworth to talk about that. Myself and Apostle Palmer from Odenton, who was there with some people at the first training that they did.
Okay, awesome. Enid, you have a question?
Yes. Hi, Byron. How are you?
I'm fine.
Okay. So I was listening to what you were saying about, yes, we know there are privacy laws that need to be upheld. I just want to say to you, it's essentially, if the students know that you know their parents a lot of times. I had this experience because I taught in many schools in the area, and I would say, oh, you are so-and-so's grandson. There becomes a trust thing there. That is essential for a lot of these kids because they don't have that in their school. And I certainly do hope that something is allowed where you can communicate with their parents if there are kids that are systematically staying in the halls, not going to their classes, because that's what you're there for. To be role models, to be leaders, to be guiders. The other thing I want to say to you is that I don't understand why, well, I do, but I guess I just want to encourage some type of understanding on the policy of you being able to speak to these family members, whether it's parents or grandparents, aunts or uncles, because as we know, it takes a village. And essentially, the one thing I do want you to please, the parents that don't know, take Jan, you know, they know what's going on in the school. They're there a lot. But it's those parents that are not there, that don't know, that don't come, that need to know what's going on. How else are they going to know? And the third thing is to protect yourself. Whatever you understanding you get, make sure it's in writing.
Yeah. So again, as you all talk about this, just so you understand that the volunteer role and the Dads on Duty project that is based upon is not to be intrusive and taking over the role of the existing counselors and teachers. That's what we don't want to do, is to have conversations with young people in the hallways when they could be with a counselor in a classroom or doing something, you know, else. So that's the overall, you know, idea. And so we still need something to be desired, not to be desired. That's not the right word, but we still need some things to get clear with the administration. And it has to be, like Ms. Lee said, a community type of volunteer, you know, effort. Is not volunteers that's disconnected to the families and the community. That's not going to work.
Mm-hmm. I think those are great points. Thank you for the work and the clarification. I don't know if you heard earlier on when and you probably have heard when I talked about our counselors and our admin team this week are really working hard on the grief counseling over the suicide of a Annapolis High School junior this Monday night.
Yeah, I saw something on Facebook about that.
So they are doing their darndest to help our huge number of students who know of the student's family and new siblings and things. So we will be following up with the school, but we know that this is a tough week for them.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you all.
Yeah. I want to open it up to if there are any other events. Like, so some of us had the pleasure of going to the Board of Ed meeting 2 weeks ago, where Laura Booth was awarded the volunteer of the month for the entire AACPS school system, and celebrated for her many roles as Bates PTA president and, you know, fundraiser extraordinaire, and her prior roles with Monarch and Georgetown PTAs, and the many things she does for the Annapolis Education Commission and things. So we congratulate Laura for that worthy recognition. And we also want to congratulate Odessa for when she was awarded. She needs to send me a picture or something. Odessa, can you talk about the award that you were presented by the Black student?
Oh, okay. Okay, everybody, I apologize. I had to make an errand, so I apologize for coming in late. But good evening, everyone. So, Jan, are you talking about when the Black History Club recognized me? Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Well, you know, I've been a sponsor of the Black History Club the years that I worked at Annapolis High School, And Miss McNeil is now the sponsor, along with Vince Leggett's grandson, Akil. And they just wanted to give me some flowers before, you move on. So it was a very nice gesture, and I really appreciate it. And the Black History Club is doing fine, and they're doing a lot of great things. So that's pretty much it, the award.
Thank you.
But I do want to say that along with Baron and what Ina said about knowing the community, I've had so many parents to come up to me and tell me that they are glad that I gave them a call and to tell them about their child misbehaving or doing something or out of place. So it's really important, to have community people or people who know the children's I know the grandparents. I used to tell them, I don't know your mother, but I know your grandmother. So it's really important, because it helps keep that child in line and to be focused on his or her education. So that's a great thing.
Yep. And I would just say that, every single kid needs accountability. It's in kids' nature.
Exactly.
If they don't have to be accountable to anybody, they're going to do what they can to get away with things.
That's kids for you.
That's kids.
That's kids.
My son would walk out the school and go across the street and go to Subway to use the bathroom when he needed.
Really?
I didn't learn about it till later. I had no idea. He's an IB student, whatever. But he found ways to evade accountability and did that. So unless every kid knows that they are going to be accountable and responsible, they're going to try and do whatever
they can. Yeah, but that's a child. I mean, that's normal behavior to me.
Yeah.
You just have to correct them. That's all.
You have to be that system that is
right.
redirecting and correcting.
Exactly.
So thank you. And thank you for founding the Black History Club that is so thriving right now. That's really dynamic to see within Annapolis High. Laura, can you go back to our PowerPoint and see what else we have? So I think we still do not have quorum for the number of commissioners to vote on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we will postpone adopting the minutes until we have a time when we have quorum. Can you power through and see what we haven't covered yet, Laura, in the slides?
How many do we need for quorum?
We need 7.
So Laura, Pam, India.
Pam is not voting because we have not had action by the city to transform her into the at-large role. I have asked and we have not heard back of getting her into voting to be a voting commissioner, unfortunately.
I think we went through everything, Janet.
Was that everything on the PowerPoint?
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Jamal, do you happen to live in Ward 4 that would like to serve on the commission?
Who's it, Baron?
Yeah. Does
Did Baron hear you?
He might be busy at the time.
What area is Ward 4, Jan?
That's Sheila Finlayson's area of the city, which is more around
Forest Drive.
The Pearl Health Center, I think, isn't it like those Pearl area? I don't know which part is Alderwoman Dale Charles and where Alderwoman Finlayson's boundary up against each other, but we can send out a map and see.
I think I know where it is, because I think it starts at Chicopee, because I'm Ward 3, so I'm right near there.
Yes.
And the other ward, we have 2 wards where we don't have someone. Ward 4 and Ward what? What was the other one?
Just Ward 4.
Okay.
And we might have an additional several at-large positions that can be filled. Yeah. So, okay, I wanted to read you just a, from our Seeds for Success partner. If I can find it. Okay, so this is from the executive director that we've heard from before, Jen Pastrone. Seeds for Success is actively recruiting volunteer tutors for grades K through 5 at Eastport Elementary on Wednesdays from 4 to 6 p.m. They can visit the Seeds for Success website to learn more. And that website is SEEDS, the number 4, success.org, seeds4success.org. Looking for K through 5 volunteer tutors on Wednesdays from 4 to 6 p.m. at Eastport Elementary School. So if you spread the word on that. And we will find out more from them of what they're looking for summer programming. Do we have any unfinished business that we have not? Enid.
Yes, one of the things that we talked about in February was about inviting the new Recreation and Parks Director to one of our meetings, and also to find out about after-school activities. And someone had volunteered to do that. I don't know, but did we get a follow-up on that at all?
So we had the Recreation and Parks Director at our last meeting with Dr. Bedell. We held it at the Pitt Moyer Rec Center. She had just started her job, Ms. Johnson. She had just started 1 week earlier. And so we were lucky to have her there and meet her. But she was, brand new to the whole system.
Yeah, okay.
But we did have a chance to meet her and talk with her briefly. We would like to follow up about the programming and stuff, but she's getting up to speed about all the different things that they run and meeting people and stuff. So I had reached out to her, explained the commission, explained what we do, and invited her to the meeting. So I will follow up with that and see how we can interact better. Is there any other unfinished business that commissioners can think of you want to bring back up for our attention? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to close unfinished business. Is there any new business that you would like to put on our agenda for this school year, next school year, items you think need our attention?
You know what? I would like to try to understand the new measures that's in place for the seniors now that can go to the community college.
Okay.
Do we know just exactly? I see a lot of information in the newspaper where the new governor has signed, put some things in action, but I really don't quite understand.
Okay, so I will clarify through the school. My vague understanding is that seniors enrolled in high school are allowed to take classes at the community college tuition free. And it might be capped on a certain number of credits. But if you are enrolled in high school, you can take community college credits for free. For our community, it's still a transportation issue barrier because there's not easy transportation up to the community college. We still have the entrepreneurship program where a community college courses, there's one of them per semester, are held at Annapolis High School. So you can get a certificate in entrepreneurship based on some of these credits for the business entrepreneur classes taught by AACC, run at Annapolis High School. So we have such a terrific community college, expanding our students' access to that. And finding out ways to reduce the transportation barriers would be good.
But aren't they also offering free classes after you graduate from high school?
I do not know about that. And so we will look into that and see if there's any economic income level for free classes or not. I don't know about that.
Mm-hmm.
Our city partner, and I wish Alderwoman Mason was here. We were just sent around a link to a work session that apparently a charter school proposal was presented to the Annapolis City Council. I know nothing about it, but I will forward you the link to the workshop, and we can hopefully get more information about that. So interesting things. Stay tuned. But our most go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say also, Ina, in your area, Millsboro Elementary, the principal over there, Dr. Rogers or somebody, I heard that he's moved to the board.
To the AACPS central office.
Right.
That would be a shame because he just won his major principal award and he's really good.
I mean, that's what I heard now. I don't know. That's something we can probably check into. But I heard he's going to be the person in charge of Office of Performance or something like that.
Okay. I will ask Ms. Davis, our regional superintendent for the Annapolis cluster, if she can keep us posted on.
Okay.
Within the cluster schools. That would be good. I had reached out to them, but they are understandably with other pressing.
Yeah, how's the school holding up? How's everybody holding up?
I don't know.
Yeah, I talked to a person on the faculty yesterday and she was crying. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's
devastating.
It's devastating.
And and I think he was a student in the they call it the Apex program now.
Right. What used to be
And
called
they're,
the Apex program.
and they're a very close-knit group.
Yeah, it's a small group. Yeah, he was very well known within the school. Yeah, so it's been a very tough week for everybody. So Odessa, I will follow up with Ms. Davis on the changes, staffing changes to find out about that. Any other new business anyone would like to raise? Otherwise, please pay attention to that. Speaking up, if you can, please speak up to the county council. That's one of our most pressing needs, and speak up in requesting an additional social worker for Annapolis High. Any of the other elementary school needs that are in the county budget, please let us know and we'll look through. But hearing no other new business, we will close that for now. Anybody have any announcements or events that you want to highlight before we adjourn? Hearing none, I will take a motion to adjourn. If anyone raise a motion.
Make a motion that the meeting be adjourned.
Okay, we need a second. We need a voting member to second that.
I'll second.
Okay, Rachel seconds. All in favor? Motion.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you all for your help this week, and thank you for everything you do for our students. Let's stay connected through email so we can get more things done.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you all.